Welcome to Political Paradigm. I am Terry Ikumi. The People's Democratic Party is in focus today. On Sunday, there was a meeting of the Board of Trustees of the National Executive Council of the group or faction of the PDP loyal to the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. And at that meeting, Mr. Wike maintained his stance that no one can expel him from the PDP as he has been a member of the party right from inception and contributed immensely to its growth. Meanwhile, Senator Mao Ohuabunwa, who is the chairman of the Board of Trustees of that faction of the party, disclosed that a caretaker committee is to be set up ahead of the conduct of congresses in certain states where congresses have not held. Now, before that, I sat down with Senator Mao Ohuabunwa for a long conversation on the crisis in the PDP, including the legitimacy of his emergence as BOT chairman of the party, just as he insists that the party does not have what it takes to win the 2027 presidential election. Senator Mao Ohuabunwa, thank you so much. Well, nice to see you again. Welcome to Political Paradigm.
Good to see you too. My pleasure. Thank you.
I almost said I missed you in the Senate, but let me leave that for later.
Well, for now, yeah.
Where have you been? What have you been up to? I mean, I was having a conversation with some colleagues, media colleagues, and they said Senator Mao Ohuabunwa has been away. We haven't seen or heard from him, and next thing we know, he's fighting for the soul of the People's Democratic Party.
Yes.
Well, where have you been and what have you been up to?
Well, I've been around. Like you said, I'm a politician, and I'm also a parliamentarian, both physically, spiritually, and otherwise. So wherever I am, I play politics and I talk about parliament, that is lawmaking. You know, I've always been an election contesting politician, all from 1997, 98, 99, 2003, 7 up to 2023. I contested the election. You win some, you lose some. But since leaving the Senate in 2019, June or thereabout, I've been around. Presently, you know, I'm the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of the University of Port Harcourt, and recently the Chairman of the BOT of PDP of my faction, which though is unfortunate, but as a pioneer member of PDP and somebody who believed in PDP and who had been in PDP from day one to date, I've never left PDP even for 1 second. Not to say I left and decided to had a U-turn, a mind change to come back. I've been in PDP, and when it got to a stage that we're getting to a point of no return, I felt that it's time for some of us to come into the foray and, like you said, fight for the soul of PDP. Because like I tell them, irrespective of individual differences, irrespective of feelings, your ambition, your whatever reasons you have, but we need PDP. PDP, for me, is for now, if not the only, but a party that is found purely on democracy, based on rule of law, and all its organs are well established democratically. And if you follow those functions and abide by the rules, we wouldn't have any problem with PDP. It's just that maybe some of us decided not to adhere to the tenets, to the spirit, and the rule of law. That's why you see us having the problem we're having. And those of us who have remained in PDP, who are true ardent followers, believers in body, soul, and spirit PDP, decided to come in at the center to see how we can recover the soul of PDP.
Very well, then. I want us to get something out the way, because you've just mentioned that you're the BOT chairman of a faction.
Yes.
That faction has been expelled based on what we heard. But help us understand, because us in the media, we tend to struggle with legalities.
Yes, sure.
And I think last week or a couple of weeks ago, I spoke with a member, the leader of the Reps Caucus of the PDP, and he insisted that there was no faction and that if your team was aggrieved or your group was aggrieved, should go to court.
Yes.
So help us understand and respond to critics who question your legitimacy as a BOT chairman.
Yeah, first and foremost, like I said, I was not invited to join PDP. Before the advent of the coming to of PDP, I had won an election under the UNCP, United Nigerian Congress Party, UNCP. I want to represent Arochko Ohafia, But the demise of Abacha, because that process or program was not completed. You had the local government election, you had the House of Assembly, had the National Assembly, waiting for the gubernatorial election before the demise of the then head of state. And we thought that the coming of Abdul Salam, we're already here waiting for our inauguration, when Abdul Salam decided to cancel everything and asked us to go back. So I was at the formative stage of PDP, and immediately after, like you know, I contested election under PDP in 1999, contested to be the leader of the House of Representatives, and contested 2003, 2007, 11, then came to the Senate and left 2019. So I'm already a member of BOT. But like we said, the problem as far as BOT was concerned is that if you look at the Constitution, BOT is the conscience of the party. They are the bridge builders. They come in mainly when there is a conflict between organs of the parties. BOT is not supposed to take sides, because if you take side, then you bring the function of BOT to nullity, because it can't function. For instance, if Ikumi and somebody else in maybe Benga or whatever, Shehu is having a problem, I don't need to take side with you or any other. I would just stay back. Then when you come in, I look, the avenue, the ways to reconcile the two parties or the two persons that have the conflict. But unfortunately, we had a board of trustees at that point that got himself entrenched or enmeshed into the issues. And when you're already part of the problem, it will be difficult for you to be part of the solution. So when these issues continued, we at our own level felt that we can't fold our hands and see this party being decimated or see the party scatter. It's not possible, because the BOT had at that point left what they are supposed to do. Yes, I give you an instance. Let's leave all that had happened earlier about individuals, what happened, but the history of the recent thing is the removal of the National Secretary, Sam Anyanwu. Yes, Sam Anyanwu was the National Secretary, duly elected by the convention at the convention. Now he became candidate of PDP for Imo governorship. After the election, he came back, resumed his job, signed documents on behalf of the party. Midway, people now felt, no, he was not supposed to be there anymore. And I told them, look, politics is not about sentiment or emotion. It's an institution that is found on the rule of law, the Constitution, the legality of it is different from sentiment and emotion. Like I told them, there is no law, as far as I know, either the party or the Constitution of the Federal Republic that says that elected person, if you want to connect, you must resign. Nothing like that. But morally, it's expected. But I told them where the party missed is that at the time, party gave him tickets. At that time, you are giving him ticket as your candidate. It's at that point you would have asked for a letter of resignation. It's at that time, give this ticket. You didn't do that. He became your candidate. You campaigned with him. After the election, he came back, resumed, continued, was signing documents as secretary of the party. Then later was when, just like an afterthought, you felt, no, he shouldn't be. And we expected at that point that BOT shouldn't have been part of that meeting of saying Anyanwu should go or Anyanwu should remain. They were divided, and it continued till this moment. And when it was time for, when they came up this recently, you found out that when the problems were on, when the, you remember the National Secretary, the legal advisor, the National Legal Advisor, the National Organizing Secretary, and the National Deputy Legal Advisor were suspended. At that point, we expected the BOT to come in immediately to resolve these issues. Because, I mean, there are, this building, there are pillars. By the time you remove National Secretary, who is the head of administration, the administrator, like the CEO, or I think the administrator, let me restrict it to that statement. Then you have the legal advisor, who is the custodian of the legality or legal instruments of the party. Then you remove the organizing secretary, that is the heartbeat. Everything revolves around the National Organizing Secretary. You suspended them. Indirectly, you have collapsed the House. And at that point was when, personally, I expected BOT to come in immediately. But unfortunately, you were now having meeting or hobnobbing with the other group. Then after that,
but was it a group already? Because it would seem as though
because
what the BOT was trying to do at the time was stick with its constitution to ensure that the processes are followed.
Yes.
And that's why at the time it was insisting on that suspension.
No. But what led to the suspension? Suspension has a process. There are procedures.
You think the procedures were not followed?
But you clear. Their constitution is there. Even like what you are referring to, what happened in Ibadan. There is nowhere you can just go to a convention and begin to expel people.
Well, let me
the process from what? From local government, and these are principal officers.
We will come to that. But
yes.
We haven't really established your legitimacy as BOT chairman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to, I was giving you the
preamble.
The preamble height. So I said, based on that, when we found out that the BOT as it were, that the leadership had taken side. Because when these people were suspended, you're not supposed to meet with any group. Because once the suspension, this group came together. That is the National Secretary, the National Organizing Secretary, the National Legal Advisor, the National Deputy Legal, and a few others came together and also suspended Damagum and his group. But you found out that if you recall, maybe if it's on camera, you see that the then NWC leadership, BOT leadership, were meeting with the Damagum group and took a decision. And after that decision, you now set up a reconciliation committee. Will you see a judge who met you on his way to the courtroom and say, oh, Terry, I will deal with you? Then you are going to appear before him, or you see him hobnobbing with your opponent or your enemy, the opponent you're coming to court. Then you see him, then all of a sudden you get into the court, he's the judge. It's very clear that you have two options. Either you accept your fate or you quickly leave that environment and decide what next to do, either to take your case to another. And that's exactly what happened. So when this happened, we felt that it was not right. And if we leave this party the way it was going, we decided to form our own board of trustees. It's not a new board of trustees. It's those members who are with us. So let's get it right. When people talk about legitimacy, it's not a new, we didn't form a new BOT. We're already members of BOT. Do you get what I'm saying? Just like also the NWC. NWC now is divided. You have those who were before now with Damagum, before now, and those who were with Samayamu group, forming their own, unlike what is happening now, because they are, I don't know if I can mix it. Because you see, now you went to Ibadan and dissolved the Damagum-led group, which means they have no local stand anymore, because their tenure as per election is till the 8th of December. So what it means is that it's only Samayamu group that are still functioning. They are the main executive we have today, because these people presented themselves. I'm not even talking about the legality yet. Maybe you asked me about that. But when you present it and you are dissolved, you even handed over, which is against the Constitution. And if you go to INEC today, who are those recognized? Damagum's name is still there. Yeah. Samayamu's name is still there. But you, as Damagum, you presented yourself to whatever you call it, convention, and you have been dissolved.
So why did INEC accept the outcome of the Osun governorship primaries?
And published a name?
And INEC monitored it at least.
No. This is being contested. I don't think so. Because when you know INEC, is when you see the publication. Have they published a name? And I think that primaries ended in a fiasco. Yes, but all I know is that before now, really, all I know, I stand to be corrected, is that most of the letters were already written and co-signed by Damagum and Ayamu. I give you an instance. In the last NWC meeting we had, where we resolved to hold convention, fixed a date, we agreed in that meeting that those states and zones where where congresses were not done or concluded should be done before the convention, and the letters were there and then signed, co-signed in line with the law that and our constitution and INEC guidelines that the chairman and the secretary are the two officers permitted by law to sign any correspondence to INEC. So those ones were already signed. The only one that was left unsigned was that of the National Convention. The agreement was that after the congresses, then convention, because if you don't conclude these congresses and congresses, whether world, local government, geopolitical, the geopolitical zones, then you will be disenfranchising most of the delegates who will come for the national convention.
Why we speak about the legality of either of the factions?
Yes.
We had just talked about the Osun governorship primaries, which held an INEC sent representatives there. And we also know that INEC rejected a letter from your faction, the Anyanwu faction, to postpone the Ekiti primaries.
Yes.
So what does that say?
No, it's possible. It's possible. I don't know, like I'm not speaking, I don't have the facts. But it's possible that if the letter ab initio was signed by the two, co-signed for the Congress or for the primaries, then now one person is signing for postponement. INEC will not honor it. I'm just saying.
But then INEC honored the Osun primaries.
No, you are saying so. It's not really clear because you remember there was an issue.
Yes.
It ended up almost in a fiasco. You know that the members of the State Assembly there and then protested. I think you carried it on. They protested that how can you bring people from outside to come to conduct?
No, you know, that one is an internal party issue. I'm talking, I was actually referring to INEC as a body, because I had raised questions with my former guest on whether or not INEC monitored the convention.
Yes.
And it was almost clear that INEC did not monitor the convention, even though the argument was that INEC necessarily didn't need to be there. INEC only, according to the Constitution and the provisions of the law, may. INEC just needs to be notified. So when we talk about this convention, which you question, and the expulsion, Honorable Fred Agbede, who I spoke with, who is the leader of the Reps PDP caucus, had said that the disciplinary committee had submitted a letter to the National Working Committee, which was now ratified at the convention. Is that not the process for suspension or expulsion of a member?
Of a member?
Yeah.
No, it starts from your ward. It's just like if I'm registering, I don't come to National and register.
So you say...
You register from your ward. Your suspension will come from your ward to the local government, then coming here for ratification. It only comes to the national for ratification. Nobody is a member of national PDP. You're a member, you belong to a ward. That's why when you want to, whether you want to resign or register, it's from your ward.
So on what basis now has your faction suspended the other faction?
No,
or expelled the other faction?
When there is an illegality, it's political. When you went and suspended. So they have no other choice than to also suspend you, so that when we discuss, we all come to a round table.
So you're suggesting that both actions are illegal?
Yes. See, let me tell you what would have solved this problem. You see, with the legal issues, as it were, the BOT then set up a reconciliation committee.
Matter of fact, there have been several.
Yes, I'm just recent one, the latest. Then the National Assembly caucus, the minority caucus, also came and said, look, this is time to resolve this problem. With this plethora of legal issues here and there, let's wait for the expiration of the tenure of this NWC. Set up a caretaker committee. Then let this also Saraki came up on TV to say so. Let this caretaker committee now reconcile all the issues so that we'll go to the convention a reconciled, more united party. But unfortunately, like I've always said, the problem we've always had in PDP is presidential ambition. That has been a check from the history. Luckily, I'm privileged to speak on this because I'm a foundation member of PDP. I've been in PDP. I'm not like somebody who left and came back, which is also part of our problem. Because the law states that once you leave the party, as you come back, you don't take the front seat anymore. You go back. But you find out that if you check too from your head that most people who leave, as they come back, they want to be president. They come back, they want to be on the front seat. That had created issues. So they say, look, let's get together, reconcile these issues. By the 7th or 8th, before the expiration of this a day or so, which is the usual thing, then we form a caretaker committee. Then let this caretaker committee reconcile all the parties, sort out with all the legal issues. Then we'll go to the convention, a more united party. But unfortunately, those who are driven by selfish ambition or interest over ambition decided not to obey that, and that's why we went and exposed ourselves to a ridicule in Ibadan, which you see the case is still on. As you saw, the chairman, which is also an illegality of his own, because the chairman of the convention planning committee left at that point after making his speech.
Let me take you back a little so that we can talk about, let's look at something that has to do with the genesis, some would say.
Yes.
And in all these, and some people still don't understand the internal party crisis of this party. I noticed that you did not mention any aspect regarding the FCT minister.
Yes.
And some are now questioning in what capacity is he hosting the leadership of the People's Democratic Party in his office?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about, because for now, there's no office. Like the other faction or whatever you call them are holding their meeting at the Bauchi.
But it was before the sealing of the headquarters that he had held meetings with the Assam Ayamu-led executive.
No, don't forget about before the sealing, before the official or physical sealing, the police are taking over. You remember there was an issue before now, before this latest one. There was an issue at the when one faction laying claim and the other faction laying claim. You remember after the suspension of
back and forth
NWC member, yes. Back and forth, not the so-called expulsion. That was when the police now. So for you to do anything, you need to write the police to get approval to even use the party secretariat, which was also what we did in the last meeting, where Bala led talks to come to disrupt that meeting, but we still had our meeting. But what I'm trying to say,
he led talks.
Yeah, sure. He was clear. If you see where he was saying, call the boys, call them in. It's everywhere. You see it. I'm surprised he didn't air it. He was calling. Even one of the NTA correspondents or cameraman was manhandled. You were asking about the FCT minister.
Yes, please.
You see, I've told people several times, I don't want to go into the genesis. FCT minister, for me, is one of us. One of us, I mean, one of those who've been members of this, who had been a member of this party from inception, as I speak, who had put his mind, soul, body, and spirit in this party. The FCT minister had never left PDP one day. He rose through the ranks. He was chairman of local government, PDP. He was chief of staff, PDP. He was minister, PDP. He became governor, PDP. He's still in PDP. You see, the story is that they say he who wears the shoe knows where it pinches. And there's an adage in our place or a proverb, if you're not there at the funeral, you will not know where the head or the leg. So when you're asked to come and assume the body, you start from the wrong place because you are not there. And that is the normal everywhere. What happened was that Wike had been body and soul. He had put in everything in this party. It's very clear. Even when all these people left, don't forget our convention in 2013 or 2014. When all these people pulled out from our national convention. Atiku, Saraki, Amechi, all of them. They left this party empty with nobody. It's only Wike who came and mobilized everybody with all within his power, sustained this party. All alone, at a point, the national officers were not paid salaries for months. He was able to keep this party. Then kept this party. 2014, is it 2014, 15, you know, then when Buhari came. Is it 2015? 2019, Atiku came back. Forgot that he ran an election with Buhari. When he left PDP, he went. Saraki was Senate president as APC, but he was a governor, 8 years of PDP. Amechi was governor, 8 years PDP. You see, we must look at the genesis, get the story right. They all left, abandoned the party. When that group of people left at a convention, what will you think will happen to the party? What was their intention? That should have been the death of the end of the party. But somebody came and said, no, this party will not die. I will put in everything God has endowed me with to keep this party. We came forth. Then 2019, I think them came back again. You came back and ran for the presidency. He won. Wike was supporting Tambuwal. People, these things are there for everybody to see. But as a true party man, he quickly said, okay, fine. If that is the party's decision, I have no objection. He accepted, contributed, supported, went to the court to challenge Buhari's emergence. After that, the party was left rudderless, no leadership. No leadership. Everybody, after that the election, everybody, somebody who, and those who are supposed to be leaders, left the party. He also took it up himself to contain the party. Then he ran for the primaries of the presidential election. He lost that election, so to say. Because like I said, no matter what, once you're not declared, it's assumed you lost, whether you lost rightly or wrongly. What I'm trying to say, I don't want to go into the stories or what happened.
Yeah, but did he lose or not? Right?
No, that's what I'm saying. No, there are things that happen which shouldn't be if we follow it right. You see, when you follow the guidelines, after the last campaign, when you are asked to come to the podium to address people, after you address, once they've announced election, nobody has any right to campaign anymore. But don't forget that after that, Tambuwal came back and said he wanted to say something. So people thought he was coming to say, I'm no more running. If you follow, you're a media man, you have the,
we follow.
You have the record. Tambuwal now there and then and said that he's asking all his supporters to vote for Atiku. Have you forgotten? By law, as far as that happened, the election should have been cancelled or suspended at that point, because that is campaign, but that did not happen. So that's why I say
mainly because there were no dissenting voices. Nobody called for it.
No. How will you call? People raise their voices, but you are not in charge. You're not the one. I think David Mark, or who was the chairman of the convention. He's like, if you're in the parliament, if the presiding officer does not recognize you, make a noise. So worst case scenario,
this is your explanation for why you believe that Wike has every right to be as aggrieved as it is.
No, I've not even landed with due apologies. So I'm only stating this, making this prayer, stating this case. Then that happened. He now, let's assume he wasn't the candidate. Now I'm privileged to have been a member of the zoning committee of our president. You know, we had one person per state. We called them the 37 wise men. I represented Abia State at that zoning committee. It was here in Benue State liaison office. Oton was the chairman. The first day of the meeting, it ended in a fiasco. It was almost like fight, because we, especially some of us or most of us from the south, was saying, in keeping with the constitution of our party recognizes rotation, and it should come to the south. We fought. Not then the second day. Well, what looked like a prevailing argument, a spurious argument, came and said, "Look, we should have started this earlier. But since we allowed everybody to buy, that people had gone to buy forms, and now since they had gone to buy forms, if you now zone, what will happen to those who bought forms from other zones?" Which looked a little bit real, because we were looking for the soul of the party. We don't want the party scattered. So what was agreed was that we should throw it open. Then when somebody emerged from any of the geopolitical, then other things will fall in line. Your members, the media people, I don't know whether any of you, who covered that meeting here, once we announced that it's been thrown open, from there, from Benue, they went to party secretariat and interviewed the then chairman, Senator Ayu, and said, now your party had thrown this thing open. If Northern emerge, what will happen? He said, it's also on tape, like I'm speaking, that if Northern emerges, he's going to
resign.
Resign. It's not me. He said it is there, clear. Now, when these things happen after everything, we can now say, okay, fine. I'll swallow the bitter pill, no matter what happened. Don't also forget that after the convention, the party set up a committee for the vice presidential candidate. The party. And every organ of the party was well represented. National Assembly, BOT, NWC, former ministers, and every recognized organ was represented. And it got to the extent that they voted. The records are there. They voted. I don't know what, I don't care how it happened, but they voted, and Wike had the highest number to be the vice presidential candidate.
Was that what happened?
Yes!
Because we thought they narrowed it down to, I think, 3 candidates for the...
No, just thank God, that's what you were shown. Yeah. So what happened was that Wike, the records are there. He won. They voted, he won. What happened was that the party, because the party under you, didn't want to bring it to the fore. So what they did was, because yes, like I told them, there are 2 things you would have done without getting to this level. You would have at that point liaised with the presidential candidate and say, look, who can you work with? The party can work with you because he had become the presidential candidate. He will give you somebody. But you left that, you wanted to be transparent, but you didn't conclude the process. You now became and said, look, let's throw it open. Then somebody emerged. After somebody had emerged was now when you now wrote a letter in line with what you're saying, nominating 3 persons now for the presidential candidate to choose. Why? Then why did you go into election or choosing? Why? If you were to say, then you didn't need to do that. You would have gotten 3 persons. But people don't know much about this. But after all that, Wike as a party man, because I tell people, tell the truth. Forget about Wike. Wike is not perfect. We talk about human idiosyncrasies. He has his own area, but that's not, I'm not talking about Wike. I'm talking about our party, the sustainability of PDP, because I'm privileged to be a member. From 1999 to today, Ohuabunwa had been a member of NWC, had been a member of, no, not NWC, sorry, please, member of NEC, member of Caucus, member of BOT. Don't forget that in 1999, I was the leader of the House. I was the leader of PDP. Do you understand? Then I was in Caucus, then continued, went to the Senate. Even when I left the House, I was a member of NEC.
A great percentage of what you've said.
So I just want to land so that you can get this. So when that happened, he now said, okay, fine. As a party member, we from the South, implement what you have said. Now that you have chosen this thing, then now you must leave. Let the chairmanship come to the South so that we too will have what to campaign with. Because now the presidential candidate has become a northerner, the chairman of the party, a northerner. We can't continue. And you have agreed, and this is an agreement, so you should leave. And he came out openly. He didn't hide it. He said, look, you must leave. He got a state that he started saying, if Ayu doesn't leave, I will not support this, the presidential candidate. He didn't hide it. Whatever you call it, he kept saying that, using it as instrument to make the party do the right thing.
But Ayu eventually left.
Ayu didn't leave.
Eventually.
No, Ayu didn't leave until after election.
Eventually.
No, Ayu didn't leave. I'm coming. Ayu was suspended. Ayu didn't leave.
I agree.
No. You get it right. Ayu, the word like.
I'm not saying he resigned.
No, I want to use it to get to what you asked me.
I'm not saying
Ayu left by his word. I want to use it to make a case for expulsion.
Go back on his word.
No, I want to use it to make a case as per your question, as per expulsion.
Okay.
To tell you that the expulsion or whatever comes from the word or by voluntary resignation.
I agree.
So Ayu didn't leave until his word suspended him.
Because of time, I was trying to just fast track that conversation.
Fine.
So eventually when Ayu left, a lot of people, when Ayu was removed, a lot of people assumed that peace would have returned to the People's Democratic Party. But that didn't turn out to be the case. But if we fast forward to what we have today, I want to take you up on the comments by the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Bala Mohammed, who has said that there is a clear intent to destroy the party from whatever history. And one of the intent or one of the proposals is that the party in 2027 should not present a presidential candidate. Do you think
Bala was saying so?
Yes. Do you think that is justification for whatever grievance that FCT Mr. Nyesom Wike has? Because he's the one who's rumored to have said the party should not present a candidate in 2027.
Wike has never said that or made that statement to my hearing or to my knowledge. All I know from the period, like I said, when I didn't leave, he said he was going to support Asiwaju. He supported Asiwaju as a president, not as a president. He delivered his state.
The actions of your group have been interpreted to mean that you're trying to destabilize the party to favor the president in 2027, which is where this comment of him saying that the party should not present a presidential candidate in 2027
That's what I'm telling you.
And this is from someone like the PDP Governors Forum
I'm saying,
chairman.
Except Governors Forum meeting, which also Wike is not a member as of today.
But he hasn't even denied it.
No, John, listen, I don't know. I'm not speaking for Wike, but I'm telling you what I hear and what I know. Are you hearing me? What I'm saying that every decision of the party is taken at the NEC meeting, and there hadn't been anything like that. What Wike had been consistent about his support for Asiwaju. And I tell people, must every party be about presidential election? Let's assume Wike is an individual. Let's assume he says, I want to support Asiwaju as a president. Makinde says, I want to be president. Bala says, I want to be president. Should that kill the party? They're talking about presidency. We have people who are governors who want to run. You have people who want to run as senators. You have people who want to run as members of the House of Reps. You have people who want to run as members of the State Assembly. So why must this issue of presidency always be what would scatter the party? Because of selfish interest. Wike came, I'm just putting three of them, let's assume. Wike said, I'm going to support Asiwaju. Makinde said he wants to be president. Bala said either he wants to be president or he wants to run with Goodluck Jonathan. Would that scatter a party? That's what people like us are saying. Party is not only about election. Look, let me tell you about presidency. Today, I'm a bona fide PDP member, and I've been in this party, and I've been an election contesting politician, not appointment politician. I've contested election every other 4 years, even every year, from 1997, 98 to today. I contested election even in 2023. In 2015, I contested election. My seat was nullified. 2016, I also contested the election. 98, I contested election into the House of Reps, UNCP, and won. 99, I ran another election. 2023, 2027, 2011, 2019, 2023. So I stand in a better position to tell you what happens and what should help this party. So what I was saying is that, which was why people like us came and said, look, let's leave about presidency. Let's get the party first. Let's get this party. Let's get this party. Must we win president? After all, we've not won presidency since 2015. Was the party not existing? So if we can want to support Asiwaju for presidency, fine. If Makinde wants to run for presidency, fine. If Bala wants to run for presidency, fine. But those of us who are here must keep this party going. And Wike has never one day said, no.
But do you blame the party? He is a member of the People's Democratic Party, and he's openly telling the party that because he's been appointed by the president, he would support the president. It's understandable to an extent. He will support. He will support the president. Yes. It's understandable to an extent because he is an employee or an appointee of the president.
This is not the first time.
Just 1 second, distinguished. But if on his part, he's an appointee of the president, and the party is not satisfied that a member of their party is not going to support them, and the actions suggest a destabilization within the party. Do you think the party is wrong to take the actions they are taking?
No, why are you taking the action now?
Because elections are coming.
You see, today he's been appointed since 2023. 2023.
I think the crisis is more visible now.
No, there's nothing that is visible now. It's just that people refuse to do the right thing. It's been there.
What is the right thing to do now?
The right thing is that, you mean now?
Now, what is the right thing to do?
No, now that, you see, what I've said, luckily, I had a meeting earlier. Today, some few elders were respected, not elders who are taking sides or elders who are compromised. They've come to me. I think they've gone there to say, look, this party will not die. And that is more Ohuabunwa's belief. PDP will not die. PDP will live. And by 2031 or 32, PDP will rebound fully. And if possible, take over this country. Maybe 2030 something or thereabout. We mustn't be fighting for today. We must be realistic. We must be realistic. PDP today, do we have the wherewithal to win the presidency as of today?
Do you?
Do we?
Do you have it?
No, I'm asking you.
No, you're a party member.
What I'm saying is that we have the capacity, ability to sustain most of the states we have.
But you can't win the presidency.
No, listen. John, listen. When Wike, you see, it's unfortunate that you make me talk about Wike because it's a reference point. When he was a governor, Buhari was the president. You are aware the fight, the brazen fight against PDP. He stood. But today, see our governors just jumping. And if you are in WC and all the party is collapsing under you, what are you dragging under you?
No, I had this argument, and how many there is still time for even people in the even in APC and other parties to join the People's Democratic. But you are
you agree that is.
I wouldn't
so
know. You're a BOT chairman.
Yeah, how can we agree when we've not put our head? But you asked me a question which I wanted to learn about what I want to do.
You say it's the same thing. You say you're a BOT chairman.
Yes.
What sort of reconciliation would you expect if you and your faction do not believe that the PDP has what it takes to contest the 2027 presidential election?
No, we didn't.
But the other faction
No, we didn't say that.
But you said the
I said let's be realistic.
But that's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. That does not mean.
So realistically speaking,
that should not disintegrate us.
I'm not talking about disintegration.
The issue of
realistically speaking,
yes.
Do you believe that the PDP has what it takes to present a presidential candidate in 2026?
Definitely. To present is different from to win.
So you don't think the PDP?
No. What I'm saying, we have what it takes to present,
not to
but
win.
To win now is almost impossible.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I strongly believe that the Bala Mohammed and the
believe that we have to win.
That they have the capacity to win.
Fine.
So how do you reach a compromise with different factions with different perceptions ahead of
No. It doesn't matter.
Election?
We mustn't all have the same perception. We have NEC. When we go to NEC, the NWC will present its report. It will be voted. We'll vote. Whatever, NEC decide is what will happen. And when NEC decide, there will be a committee for primaries. When a candidate emerges, then we'll know the kind of person, then we'll campaign. We are not saying we shouldn't present a candidate. We've never said that. I've never said we should not. But I'm saying let's be realistic. Must we allow this issue of presidency divide us? We mustn't. Let those who are interested be doing their work. Let's organize this party. First, there must be party for you to run. Presently, Nigerian Constitution has not yet allowed for independent candidacy. You must go through a political
You know what you
party.
say, what you just said almost suggests an underlying problem within the party and why the party may struggle with reconciliation. Because you said that the FCT minister has made it clear
that he will support
Tinubu.
He has not hit it.
Beautiful. And then you have people within the party that believe that the party should present a presidential candidate.
Yeah, but we've not gotten there now. When we get there.
But it clearly shows that him leading this faction.
Yes. No, this faction came. No, I've told you how this faction came.
Him leading your faction suggests that there would be no reconciliation because one faction wants a presidential candidate, but he wouldn't want it.
No, he didn't say he doesn't want a presidential candidate. After all, in 2029, did we not have a 2023? Did we not have a presidential candidate? We had a presidential candidate now. We had a presidential candidate
because at the time the party
we all participated. We all participated in bringing the candidate.
Yes.
Nothing wrong. Candidate does not mean for a candidate to emerge does not mean you must get 100% at the primaries. Once you win even with one vote, you become the candidate. And when you get the candidate, winning an election is a different. That's what I'm saying. When we get to the bridge, we cross it. We've not gotten there. Why should we allow what is not non-existing tear us? That's what I'm saying.
What are some of the actions you've taken since you became BOT chairman of that faction?
I've been able to reach out to persons, people, even those who are not with us, to say, look, must we leave this party? These people, we don't even know what some of them are doing against most of these governors. How many remaining now? Some will take, okay, do you know that the governor of Enugu State was the secretary of this convention committee? The governor of Enugu State was the secretary.
I was on his way out, I mean, so it's
but you were coming to a meeting, presiding as secretary. You had a different. Kefas, who is almost gone, if not gone, was a subcommittee chairman. Governor of Bayelsa was the zoning what do you call it? Zoning committee chairman. So why are people deceiving themselves? And you know you're already going, and you're deceiving us.
So your advice to the PDP is to focus on
the party,
not the presidential election,
the party,
but the party.
The party.
In this case, every other elective position.
Yes.
National elective position.
Yes. See, listen. The Bible says, "Seek ye the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all that things will be added unto it." It's clear. Let's seek first the party, the soul of the party. Other things will come. As we get there, we discuss them. I tell you, after 2015, a committee was set up led by Ike Kuremadu. What happened? How did we get here? Till today, that report had not seen the light of the day.
What is Abdulrahman Mohammed's claim to legitimacy of the leadership of the PDP?
Very clear. First and foremost, by our constitution, which I know you have gone through, if this position is in your zone, if that person resigns, it's somebody from your zone that will take that position. I'm happy you're asking this question because that is one of the issues. Damagun, as we speak, until he left, his substantive position was Deputy National Chairman North. And that seat was still vacant until they did. So it was the North Central that were supposed to, North Central was to bring in a substantive person to take over from IU because that position is already zoned to them. Damagu was just to hold it on trust for a few months or thereabout for North Central to now transmit. So that's the problem. Abdulrahman is the zonal chairman for North Central. He's the zonal chairman. So actually, he's the rightful person.
And his tenure is supposed to last till when?
No, it's ending 8th of August now, 8th of
December.
8th of December.
And what happens after that?
That's what we are saying now. Now that we've not been able to hold convention, you set up a caretaker.
You mean your faction?
That's what it should have been.
Who should set up the caretaker committee?
Who, how?
Who will set up the committee?
There is a BOT, there is NEC, there is NWC.
What is reconciliation for you as far as both factions are concerned? What exactly would be reconciliation?
Reconciliation is give and take. You don't stick to your guns and say it must be what I say. No, no, no. When there's reconciliation, Terry, which is what we have suggested long ago, even from the sidelines. Look, call then NWC, call Wike. What do you want? Call Makinde.
No, it's clear what he wants.
No, that is not an issue. That has nothing to do with the party. That what he wants has anything to do with the party. So it's Asiwaju in PDP.
What is termed anti-party? If a party member openly says, I will not support my party if my party has a presidential candidate. I will rather support
what is civil rights? What is human rights? No, what is protest?
There is
I'm asking
politics.
You. No, I'm asking you. I say, what is when people protest?
Yes.
When civil rights arise?
Are you not bound by the laws of your party, the constitution of your party, which prescribes what an anti-party activity is?
That's what I'm saying. When the party refuses to follow its own laws, a blind man cannot lead an eyed man. If you're blind, you refuse. I'm not blind. I will tell you, look at the road. And if you refuse to say, I'm following the road. But I say, Terry, look at the road. I won't let you because you are blind.
Shouldn't there be a court process for something like this instead of going against the party?
No, there's court process. The process are on, but the law we refuse to obey. You see what the court cases are on. We refuse to obey. The Anyanwu case, there was court process. You remember, he had to go to court, go to what do you call it?
Up to the
appeal court. But people are seeing it's written in black and white. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need court to tell you this is what our law says. It's there. But people decide to be blind.
But how quickly do you think this reconciliation should happen?
Well, it depends on some other. For me, as a very liberal party man, a committed party person, I want to feel that between now and February next year, we should be able to go for convention united together, and that we can embrace each other and say, yes, let bygone be bygone and move PDP forward. And what I say, I still repeat, whether we win presidency 2027 or not should not determine the soul and life of PDP. I've been saying this over and over. After all, from 2015 to today, we've been without our party, president coming from our party, but we've been existing. So why must we let people who are hell-bent? It's not the life of the party. PDP is well established at the local levels. Let's go there, fund the parties to be vibrant. Let's win councillors first. Let's win local government. Let's win governors. Let's win senate.
How's the party surviving now with regard to funding? How's the party surviving? Because I know Yeson Wike had bragged about how much he had funded the party. How is the party surviving?
No, he wasn't the only one, but he was the major. Yes. There are many people. Parties by contribution. People like us, we are funding parties at our local levels. People fund at different levels. Like if you go around this Christmas, even where we don't have elected people, you will see that our members at least will celebrate Christmas.
Anyone who's watching this conversation would almost come to the conclusion that you seem satisfied with playing opposition politics. And so they are turning to the ADC that wants to actually get into power instead. And you know that the APC is made up of predominantly members of your party that felt the need to not continue this fight.
No, even APC predominantly. The father of politics today is PDP. Go and check.
No, I'm speaking from the angle of opposition parties with the intent to take over power.
Yeah, today, as I speak today, the leadership of opposition, both in Senate and House, are PDP members. As I speak. Abba Moro is the leader of opposition in the Senate. Chinda is the leader of opposition in the House. They are all PDP members.
He doesn't have the entire support of the PDP.
No, he doesn't. But he was elected. Whether he has or not, that is not for you to decide. Because you didn't go to take head count. No, did you go to do head count?
I spoke.
No, did you go to do head count? Cool, Terry. Did you do head count?
2 weeks ago, I had a conversation with the leader of the PDP Reps Caucus. And he openly admitted that they have a challenge in the House of Representatives as far as opposition is concerned and the PDP. And the reason is, one, loyalty. In this case, Kingsley Chinda's loyalty.
No. So what about, why do you leave Abba Moro? I started first and went to Chinda. Thought you should have started
because I spoke with
so
the
Abba
leader.
Moro, is he accepted?
Because I spoke with the leader.
No, is
of the
Abba Moro
Reps
accepted?
caucus.
Abba Moro, is he accepted?
What this means is
No, Terry,
that
start with, don't jump.
I'm telling you who I spoke with. I spoke with the leader of the Reps caucus.
No, but did you speak with the leader of Senate?
I will.
So when you speak to them, I'm an alumnus of the National Assembly,
Yes.
having grown from the National and from the House of Reps to the Senate, and that's why we have the leader, the chairman of National Assembly is the Senate president. So what I'm saying, when I talk, I only told you this.
But there are more,
and you know that two of them.
There are more PDP members in the House of Reps.
And you know that two of them,
Yes.
they are more based on composition.
Absolutely.
Senate is on equality of state.
Yes.
House is on population.
Yes.
So definitely can be the same. Definitely can be the same. And the House too, to some extent, should be a little more vibrant because of the age. Like when we were there, we called the shots those days before we went to the Senate.
Do you miss the Senate?
Yeah, because by nature I'm a parliamentarian.
Do you want to go back?
By the grace of God.
On what platform? The PDP?
How can you ask me platform when you are speaking to me as
people
as
are
PDP?
leaving the PDP because of the
Don't worry.
back and forth.
No, how
there
many
are
months
lawmakers who say there are concerns as to who INEC will recognize who will sign your form. So let's leave and go to where we can achieve our political ambitions.
Their fear is justified.
Yes.
Which is why some of us came. Because if we allow this thing to continue, we will not even have candidates. Like I've told you, I'm an election contesting politician. Go and ask. I'm a grassroots politician. I've never been an appointment or party. No, grassroots is when you contest election. And I told you, from 1997, 98 to today, the last election was 2023. I contested. There hadn't been any election you say Ohuabunwa didn't contest. You see my name on the ballot. I've been. So I'm telling you that what I'm telling you is real. And that's what we want to do. It will be my great joy to see PDP back strong. It doesn't matter whether we go win presidency or not, which is also what I've preached. Let's not allow this presidency thing scatter us. Check. It's been a problem. When Atiku was his presidency, he came back, he jumped out like that. Now it's Makinde, it's Bala, Wike is supporting Asiwaju. What are all those? Must everybody be a president? Let's work now. There are governors, like those of us who have been in parliament. There are many people, but like you said, because of what is happening, the NWC was no more leading us well. So that's why some of them are jumping, because they don't want to get to a stage that nobody will sign their form. And like you said, you are talking. Do you think ADC is new? Is ADC a new political party?
It's strengthened.
No, is it a new political party?
Absolutely not new, but strengthened.
So it's been there.
Yes.
It's been there in existence. But this is their time to...
Do you fear for the strength of the ADC?
No. It isn't, no.
The ADC is not stronger than the PDP as it stands now.
How can it be strong? Where are the structures? Politics is about structure.
Well, you say it's not a new party.
That's what I'm telling you now. New party is Labour Party, Zenith Labour. Has it been existing? Zenith Labour, has it not been existing?
Senator Mao.
Yes, I'm just telling you.
I'd like to thank you very much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Well, that was Senator Mao Ohuabunwa, who's the chairman of the Board of Trustees of one of the factions of the People's Democratic Party. You can catch that interview again on YouTube and Channels TV. Thanks for your time. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.